All right, good morning, everybody. John here from Hall of Justice Comics, Parker, Colorado, with your weekly dose of Final Order Cutoff Roundup, FOC Roundup for short. If you guys are unaware of FOC or what FOC is all about, it is basically our last chance as a retail comic book store to adjust our numbers on comics before they get shipped out from the different publishers to us. And so it's critical for you to be aware of this information so that you can order the comics that you want to show up in your hold slot. That way they'll be at cover price, less your discount. You know, I don't know how a lot of other stores, most shops offer a discount if you've got hold slot service, but I know that there are some that don't. But if you want to pay cover price and not market value, the two things that comics and Lobster have in common is that they're both sold at market value. Then you need to pay attention to this information. Get your orders in. We do this show super early, technically, because publishers don't have to have all of the information to Diamond until Friday morning. And so I write this stuff up behind you, which is live on our website Wednesday night after I get home from work. It's all live on the website Wednesday night. I get here to the store Thursday morning. I make a post on Facebook, which you guys are already commenting on. So thank you for playing along with us in this game that is comic books. And then we do the show, and we do this show live on Facebook right now. When will then be now? It's right now. Yeah, massive. It is absolutely massive, Josh. And then we also we record this video and we post it to YouTube. So if you're not on Facebook, if you don't follow social media, you still have an opportunity to pay attention to all of this stuff and get your orders in before the cutoff times. That way, all this stuff, you know, barring shipping errors, all of that sort of stuff, picking errors. We got Lunar, which is DC's shipment for next week yesterday, and they double shipped. So we ordered A, B, and C covers. The C cover is a Gary Frank cover. Well, they sent us the Gary Frank covers, the quantity in the amount of the regular cover by Guillaume March, and we have no Gary Frank covers. So, you know, I shot an email off to Lunar. I haven't looked to see if I got a response back on that yet, but as of right now, we're over 50 copies on the main cover and short 50 copies of the Gary Frank cover. And I have no control over that because that's Lunar doing the picking and sending the stuff out to us. But hopefully we'll be able to get that rectified and have copies of the Gary Frank cover for those of you that asked for it. So, I mean, it's not perfect. The system isn't perfect. There's still going to be flaws. There's still going to be damages. There's going to be shortages. But you know, using this information that is now at your fingertips is the best way to ensure that the things that you want show up in your hold slot. So that's what this show is all about. You hear me preach about it when we do our stream sales, etc. Like I said, this is a big week for FOC. We've got the Hellfire Gala that's starting. If you're a Marvel or X-Men fan, you've got War of the Bounty Hunters that's kicking up into full gear. You have Venom 200 that's coming out, and a whole mess of other new DC #1s. So let's dive right in. The way this works, if you see anything that you would like to subscribe to, all you have to do is to comment sub and the title, and we will add that to your subscription here at the store. That way you don't miss out on an issue of any of the books that are on order. Should have shut the phone off. If you're afraid of commitment, if you don't necessarily want to jump in to get at least the first 3 or 4 issues of the series, you can just comment pull with the issue, the title, and the cover that you would like to order and the quantity. And as long as we have your order in by Sunday for DC or Monday for everybody else, you're good as gold. Again, the DC cutoff is Sunday, May 9th at 11 a.m. Everybody else is Monday, May 10th, also at 11 a.m., and that's Mountain Time. Now, if we're not your home store, that's cool, because you can still use this information to your benefit. Just ask your local comic shop when they would like to have their orders by, so that they can ensure that they get, you know, whatever it is that you'd like to order, okay? So sub and pull are the two terms that we're going to use when we're talking about comics in this video. The last thing that I want to bring attention to is right here across from me. Covers that are in bold in this write-up did not have images at the time that I put this together. And again, I do this early. I put it up on Wednesday with what I have at my fingertips. You know, stuff will trickle in over the weekend. I'll show you how you can pay attention to see what it is that you want to see for covers before cutoff date. Okay? So first up, from Dark Horse, this week we have Apex Legends #1, Overtime #1 of 4. The legends from the Battle Royale video game find themselves pulled together to rescue the city from mad scientists, brutal assassins, and the sudden and sinister grip of the Syndicate, a corrupt cabal attempting to fix arena outcomes in their favor. Will the legends hold up to their celebrity status and the heroes' solace needs, and be the heroes' solace needs? I don't know anything about this. It's a video game. If you follow the video game and you would like the 4-part miniseries for the comic book, let us know and we can make that happen for you. That's literally all that I have. The cover is by Bengal, who's pretty solid. But that's it. That's all I know about this one. Apex Legends Overtime #1 of 4 from Dark Horse. Next from Dark Horse, I'm really bummed because I got an advanced PDF of this in my inbox last night, and I wanted to read it so I could talk to you about it because this sounds right up my alley. It sounds fantastic. It sounds like it's capitalizing on the popularity of Scumbag from Rick Remender at Image. From Dark Horse, we have The Worst Dudes #1 of 5. The book so dirty it'll turn your other comics yellow. A dirty cop, a drugged-up backup dancer, and an angsty adolescent god, the absolute worst dudes in the galaxy, are on a raunch-filled hunt for a missing pop star. It's a hilarious, aggressively weird, willfully vulgar detective story from noted reprobates Aubrey Sitterson, who did the awesome No One Left to Fight and the comic book story Professional Wrestling, and Tony Gregory from Deuce of Hearts and Karma Police. So, warning, this book contains dubious... What does it say? Does it say dubious? Onious? I don't know. I can't read. Language, wanton drug use, willful violence, unabashed lechery, and general loathsome behavior. If you are interested in any of those things, this will probably be a gas. So, The Worst Dudes #1 of 5 from Dark Horse. I'm pumped about that. I will be reading the advanced PDF before the weekend is over so that I can talk to you about it. Hopefully, you know, we'll see. From DC this week, we've got Batman #109. The Bat Train just keeps on chugging along. James Tynion is killing it on all fronts right now. In the main story, Mayor Nakano greenlights the Magistrate pilot program for Gotham City as Batman goes toe-to-toe with the augmented and bloodthirsty Peacekeeper 01. It's a brutal battle for the ages, but what secrets does Harley hold about the man beneath the armor, Sean Mahoney? And how does this all play into the Scarecrow's hands? In the backup story, we've got Ghostmaker fighting through incredible odds to reach the nefarious Madam Midas, but will his next opponent, Brainstorm, be impossible to overcome? That sounds like there could be first appearances in this particular book. Madam Midas, Brainstorm, who knows? We've got 3 covers for Batman #109. Only 2 of them were available last night. So the first cover that we have on the far left there is by Jorge Jimenez, who's killing it on this book. The B cover right here beside me is by Josh Middleton, and I don't know, I'm not thrilled with that. I think he has done better work on Aquaman and Wonder Woman, but it's cool. It's just, I don't know, it's Batman. It's kind of a slender, non-muscular Batman. I don't know. I'm on the fence about that one. There's also a C cover that you see right here, which is a Pride variant. There's lots of Pride stuff that we're going to talk about, especially during this FOC. So if you're a fan of people, of people, regardless of who they are, or what they believe, or what they practice, there's a lot of Pride variants that you'll see, including a book that we'll talk about here in a second. There's a C cover Pride variant by Jen Bartel, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. We just didn't have the image last night when I typed this up, so just want to call attention to that. Okay, this is pretty cool. This was the original series was a digital first book that did insanely well. From DC, we have the Batman The Adventures Continue Season 2 #1. These comics pick up right after where the animated series from the 90s left off. So if you're a fan of Batman in the 90s and the animated series, you're probably going to love this book. So Volume 2, Number 1, Gotham City is changing. After Mayor Hill is killed by a mysterious assailant, Batman finds himself tracking down an ancient order that's long been buried under the streets of Gotham, the Court of Owls. That's cool, because now we're taking the animated series and tying it into the big picture with Scott Snyder's New 52 Court of Owls stuff, and that's rad. But what does this group have to gain from the death of Mayor Hill, and how can Deadman help the Dark Knight? There he is. He's over there on the cover of the A cover. We've got the A cover on the far left there by Riley Rossmo with Batman, Deadman, and Talon. And the B cover right here beside me is by Trevor McLean. They are $3.99, $4.99. One's cardstock, one's not. So, Batman: The Adventures Continue, Number 1, Season 2. Here's another new one, kids. Crush and Lobo, Number 1 of 8. In case anyone was wondering, Crush is doing just fine, actually. Sure, she recently walked away from her classmates at the Roy Harper Titans Academy and effectively quit being a teen titan in a blaze of glory. And okay, her relationship with her too-good-to-be-true girlfriend, Katie, is kind of on the rocks, if you want to get all technical about it. Oh, and she recently found out that Lobo's in space jail, but that's cool because he's the worst. Okay, maybe Crush has some stuff, but that doesn't mean she's going to do anything about it, like actually go to space and confront her dad and all her problems, because everything is fine, right? There are 2 awesome covers available for this. The main cover on the far left is by Chris Anka. The variant cover right here beside me is the Pride Month variant by Yoshi Yoshitani. And both of those, I want to say, they're $3.99, $4.99, cover A, cover B for Crush and Lobo. 8-issue miniseries. This should be a lot of fun. Next from DC, The Conjuring. This is surprising to me, kind of coming out of left field, but it is a Warner Brothers property, so here you go. This is the terrifying debut of the tie-in to The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, begins here in The Conjuring, The Lover, Number 1 of 5. With the story bursting at the seams with clues about the new film, meet Jessica. Jessica just returned to her freshman year of college after a winter break, bringing with her the anxieties of last semester's poor grades, the awkwardness of facing a boy she wishes she'd never slept with, and an undeniably unnerving feeling of being watched. She soon comes to realize that something evil made her its target, and it will not rest until it has her in its unholy grip. But why did this sinister presence set its sights on a seemingly normal college freshman? Read this nerve-wracking tale, creepily crafted by Conjuring screenwriter David L. Johnson McGoldrick, that's a lot of surnames, and Rex Ogle, with a heart-stopping art from Gary Brown and chill-inducing covers by Bill Sienkiewicz to find out. Speaking of covers, the cover on the far left is the A cover by Mr. Bill Sienkiewicz, and that is pretty solid. The B cover right here beside me is the VHS tribute cover by Ryan Brown, with interiors by Gary Brown. So The Conjuring, The Lover, Number 1 of 5. All right, here we go. This is DC's big $9.99 oversized 100-page Pride one-shot. DC celebrates Pride Month with 9 all-new stories starring fan-favorite LGBTQIA+ characters: Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Midnighter, Extraño. I'm going to take the batteries out of the phone. Hang on 1 second, kids. There we go. Now it can't ring anymore. I don't know who Extraño is. Batwoman, Aqualad, Alan Scott, Obsidian, Future State Flash, Renee Montoya, Pied Piper, and many more. This anthology will also feature the thrilling introduction of a new hero, Dreamer, in the DCU, as seen on the CW's Supergirl series. A pinup gallery with art by Travis Moore, Chris Anka, Kevin Wada, Sophie Campbell, Nick Robles, and more. 6 exciting new profiles of DC TV's LGBTQIA+ characters and the actors who played them. $9.99 for this big oversized one-shot. 2 covers to choose from. On the far left over there, we have the Jim Lee cover, which is pretty fantastic. But right here beside me, that's going to be crazy popular. Jen Bartel with a very cool Harley and Ivy Pride cover for you. Okay, DC Pride number 1, $10, $9.99, 2 covers. Jim Lee, Jen Bartel, good stuff. This next book, all right. If you missed out on Something Is Killing the Children, if you missed out on Department of Truth, please don't miss out on this one. Like I said, James Tynion is the Midas writer right now. Everything that man touches is turning to gold. From DC this week, part of Black Label, we have Nice House on the Lake, #1 of 12. And apparently, depending on how well this series sells, James has got season 2 and season 3 up here in the old tank. So there's lots of stuff to expand on the Nice House on the Lake. Everyone who's invited to the house knows Walter. Well, they know him a little anyway. Some met him in childhood, some met him months ago, and Walter's always been a little off. But after the hardest year of their lives, nobody was going to turn down Walter's invitation to an astonishingly beautiful house in the woods overlooking an enormous sylvan lake. It's beautiful, it's opulent, it's private, so a week of putting up with Walter's weird little schemes and nicknames in exchange for the vacation of a lifetime? Why not? All of them were at that moment in their lives where they could feel themselves pulling away from their other friends. Wouldn't a chance to reconnect be nice? Doesn't everybody want that right now in 2021? With Something is Killing the Children and the Department of Truth, James Tynion IV has changed the face of horror in modern comics. Now get ready for his most ambitious story yet, alongside his Detective Comics partner, Alvaro Martinez Bueno. 2 covers to choose from. On the far left is the main cover by Alvaro Martinez Bueno. Right here beside me is the super creepy B cover by his friend and co-plotter, artist on Department of Truth, Mr. Martin Simmons. Don't miss out on this book. If you guys get James Tynion's newsletter, you know that he's promoting the crap out of this book because it's on FOC on Sunday. That guy, there's an announcement that happened with Something's Killing the Children. Department of Truth has already been optioned. He hinted in his newsletter that he's in meetings this week for something to do with Wind that he did with Boom Studios. Dude's on fire right now. Don't miss out on that at cover price, as long as you order it by Sunday at FOC. Okay? Off my soapbox. I'm sorry, my nose, my mustache, I gotta trim my mustache and my beard. My mustache hairs are growing up into my nose and it's driving me crazy. Okay. Calm. From Image this week, if any of you guys picked up the, the Paul is Dead original graphic novel, we have a new entry into the cool world of kind of alt music history stuff with this one. Jim Lives, The Mystery of the Lead Singer of The Doors and the 27 Club, original graphic novel. Amid the intense colors of a foreign land, Jim Lives is the story of a man searching for his son, a correspondent for a popular American newspaper who vanished into thin air after sending one last enigmatic message. Jim Morrison isn't dead. He's hiding out in Italy. I saw him with my own eyes. Come along with the creators of Paul is Dead as they reveal the second chapter in their conspiracy trilogy, a new, fascinating vision of the most mysterious legend in the history of rock that envisions what happened when the music's over. 136 pages for this original graphic novel, $16.99, and it's on FOC on Monday. So check that out. It's going to be cool. That almost looks like Sebastian Stan as Jim Morrison right there on the cover. I'm not restarting my computer right now, friend. Thank you. From Marvel this week. Okay, here we go. Let me get comfortable. Let me itch my nose one more time. First off, we have Amazing Spider-Man number 67, the brand new start of a story arc in the wake of King's Ransom. Spidey's journey takes a big turn. The revelation of giant-sized Amazing Spider-Man King's Ransom was huge, which we don't know about because it hasn't come out yet. But you don't understand half of what it actually means. But you should know that the Chameleon is making his biggest play ever as the Chameleon Conspiracy begins here. With a main cover by Mark Bagley. And if you notice in bold up there, there's a Spidey Villains variant by Javi Garon, which we didn't have an image of last night when I typed this up. So, perfect jumping on point for fans of Spider-Man, ASM number 67 on FOC Monday because it's from Marvel. Next from Marvel, we've got Black Cat number 7. Black Cat's actions of the last few years make her rethink who she is. The price of all things Felicia and the Black Fox have stolen is finally tallied and the bill is due. And when a bill involves items from the Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Iron Fist, and Wolverine, you can't exactly take out alone. Main cover right there is by Pepe Larraz. There are two variants that we don't have images for. There's a Pride Month variant by Phil Jimenez that wasn't available when we typed this up. There's also a Spidey Villains variant by Terry Dodson, who's amazing, that we also don't have an image for. So, Black Cat number 7. Next from Marvel, we've got Hellions number 12, the start of the Hellfire Gala. I should have brought my card back here. We got our invitation to the Hellfire Gala in the mail, I think yesterday. Hellfire Gala is a title-spanning event that's crossing over into all of the X titles, including Way of X that just launched and X Corp that hasn't come out yet. So if you're on some of them, let us know if you want all of them. If you're on all of them, don't worry, because you're on all of them. It's hard to promote because I think there's 12 parts to this story that are going to happen across all of the X titles. This is the first book to come out. Hell, there's actually 3 that are all on FOC for Monday, so yay, figuring stuff out. The start of the Hellfire Gala. Who invited the Hellions to the Hellfire Gala? Who thought it was a good idea to invite the antisocial Hellions to the fanciest bash of the year? Oh, no one? They weren't invited, but they showed up anyway? Yeah, that sounds about right. Main cover on the far left over there is by Steven Segovia. The character design variant right here beside me is also by Steven Segovia. And if you noticed up top, there is a connecting variant by Russell Dodderman. These covers are phenomenal. He did some amazing kind of design concept stuff, and each issue is going to have a different member of the X-Men kind of crossing the red carpet. If you follow him on Instagram, he's put up kind of promo images for some of this stuff. I should have tried to grab them there, but I was waiting for them to be available at Diamond. But don't get caught without those books because they are beautiful. They're really cool. So connecting variant by Russell Dodderman, and that's going to happen on all of the Hellfire Gala books that are coming out. Okay, next from Marvel, we've got Heroes Reborn, American Knights number 1, just a one-shot. An epic, oversized slugfest between the Squadron Supreme and an otherworldly group of Avengers for the final fate of the whacked-out world of Heroes Reborn. $4.99 for this one-shot. Right there on your screen, you see the main cover by Mr. Chris Sprouse. There is also a variant cover by Declan Shalvey that I don't have an image to as of right now. So, Heroes Reborn, American Knights number 1. We got Luke Cage. Looks like Daredevil, but he's got an S on his chest. I don't know what's going on. It's all weird and backwards, and up is down and down is up. This next one's pretty cool, though. From Marvel this week, we've also got Heroes Reborn, Marvel Double Action number 1, which is just a one-shot. A tale from the Squadron's past. Years ago, Nighthawk and his trusted partner, the Falcon, patrolled the streets of Washington, D.C. from the vile criminals that lurked in the dark. But all that changed one fateful night, representing, for the first time ever, the night that Sam Wilson died. That's a pretty cool homage, too, right there. $4.99 for this one-shot. Main cover by Dave Johnson. There's also a variant cover by Annie Wu. It is in bold up top, so I didn't have an image available for that when I wrote this up last night. But I'll show you how to check for all this stuff. Okay, next from Marvel, we have the start of another event that's technically crossing over into all of the annuals of some of the books that you may be subscribed to. It's called Infinite Destinies. We've got Iron Man Annual number 1 that's out first. So an annual is just a one-shot. They generally come out annually, so once a year. In this particular one, we've got Iron Man versus Quantum. They're fighting right on the main cover, and he's behind Iron Man on the variant cover right there. When Iron Man learns about the strange people who kidnapped and tortured Miles Morales, he has to look into it. What he finds out about the Assessor, and especially Quantum, will shock him. and you. Don't miss this in-depth look at some of the coolest new villains, and the groundwork laid for major future Marvel stories. Also, in this issue, part 1 of 8 for Infinite Destinies. Super Spy versus Super Spy. Nick Fury is Agent of Nothing, and Phil Coulson is Agent of Mephisto. That's right, Christine Small, Mephisto. For the first time since Coulson came back from the dead, these two brothers in arms will face off. And that's going to be kind of the overarching theme with this whole Infinite Destinies thread story arc that's going to happen between all 8 of these annuals that are coming out throughout the summer. All right, so for the covers, you've got the main cover on the far left there by Nick Bradshaw. The variant cover right here beside me is by Travis Charest, and it's pretty solid. Then we have on the far left there, Deadpool's 30th anniversary cover by Mr. Rob Liefeld, a couple of feet on there. And beside me right here is the Ron Lim connecting cover that's going to connect to all 8 of the Infinite Destinies annuals that are coming out. So, there you go. Iron Man Annual #1. Just thought I'd call attention to it. Okay. Here we go. Part 2 of Hellfire Gala. Like I said, there's 3 parts on FOC on Monday. This is Marauders #21. This is technically the first part, but I put this all in alphabetical order, so Hellions comes first. So we've got the Hellfire. Welcome to the Hellfire Gala. The Hellfire Trading Company has put together the biggest event of the season, the very first Hellfire Gala. Everyone will be there, all your favorite mutants, their closest allies, even their worst enemies, for a night of dinner, drinks, diplomacy, and deceit. Fireworks to follow, plus from the archives, a classic X-Men tale with our very first look at a Hellfire Gala by Chris Claremont and John Bolton. There are going to be new characters that show up in these books. I can't stress that enough. So, you know, like I said, if you're on all the X-Men books, you don't have to worry. If you're not and you want it all, please let us know. The main cover over there on the far left with the White Queen is by Mr. Russell Dodderman. There is also the character design variant right here beside me. I don't know what's going on there. I like Banshee's black and yellow cape. That is the character design variant by Matteo Lolli, who's the interior artist on the book. We are missing the connecting cover variant by Russell Dodderman again, which is why it's in bold up there. And last but not least, we have the Pride Month variant featuring Iceman by Mr. Phil Jimenez right there on the far left. So technically 4 covers for Marauders #21. We're just missing the Dodderman connecting cover. Okay? Okay, here we go, kids. If you aren't paying attention this week, we had Bounty Hunters Alpha #1 that came out, still on the stands out there. Check it out. It's the story of what happens after Boba leaves Cloud City with Han in Carbonite in cargo. Turns out his Carbonite didn't go as well as it should have, and he starts to deteriorate, and so Boba's got to find another Carbonite guy to repair and replace the damage that's being done so that Han doesn't thaw out in the back of Slave One. So it's cool. It's a cool story. It's a neat idea, and it's crossing over through all the titles of Star Wars except for High Republic. And this is #1 of the 5-issue miniseries, War of the Bounty Hunters #1 at 5. At war for the greatest prize of all, Han Solo, the hunt begins. Nobody steals from Boba Fett. The notorious bounty hunter will not stop until he gets what's rightfully his. For the thief, no corner of the galaxy is safe. Good thing for them that the Rebel Alliance, the Empire, and every bounty hunter in the galaxy is standing in Boba's way. With a last page reveal that will blow this Death Star-sized story wide open, issue #1 is just the beginning. The biggest crossover in Star Wars history will continue raging through the pages of War of the Bounty Hunters and tie into Star Wars, Dr. Aphra, Darth Vader, and Bounty Hunters through the month of October. So we got a long haul with this book, kids. Okay, there's a lot of missing covers for this one. The main cover on the far left over there is by Steve McNiven, which is absolutely fantastic. There is an action figure variant by John Tyler Christopher. Don't have an image for it. There's a Pride Month variant by Babs Tarr, who is phenomenal. Don't have an image for that. There is a Sarah Pichelli variant cover that we don't have an image to. And finally, we've got the Giuseppe Camuncoli wraparound variant. All of those open-to-order covers are $4.99. You know, if you were on the fence about it, now is the time to get subbed to at least this. And then if you dig it a lot, you can get in on all of the other stuff for the 4 issues that are tying in.
35 a book. Huh? 35 a book?
For signature verification?
No, just for the grading itself. Because I know the signature verification is 25 a book. But what is the books? Because they're not modern. So is it the next tier, the economy, for 35?
I don't know. That's got to go CBCS, and I don't know what they're...
I don't either. That's what I'm asking. I'm going to do it at 35. If it's too much or too little, we'll get it
yeah, that's fine. I mean, I can look it up real quick, Randy, if you... Hang on one second. We'll edit all this out in the YouTube video. Sorry. That's not what I was looking for. We want the pricing. I don't know. We'll get back to this. Sorry, guys. Okay, all right. You ready for this next one, kids? Here we go. Venom number 35 / issue 200. And there are a crap ton of covers that are missing from this one, kids. The final chapter in the Book of Venom by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. This is it, Venomaniacs. The landmark 200th issue starring the most sinister symbiote in the Marvel Universe arrives. And after this, nothing will be the same. From Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman, and a who's who of artists from the issues that tore Eddie Brock's life asunder and brought the King in Black to Earth, comes the first chapter of the rest of Venom's life. It's not over. This isn't the finale. It's Donny and Ryan's last issue, but Venom is going to continue on post this series. So you know this is a perfect jumping on point for Venom. But in Null's wake, what even remains of the Lethal Protector? This big book is going to be 100 pages, technically 96, but you count the outside cover, inside back cover, outside back cover. That's 100 pages. The main cover that you see right there is the one that we have a poster of here in the store. That is the Ryan Stegman main cover. Okay, $9.99, $10 cover price for this 100-page book. All right, look at this. Art Adams variant cover. Didn't have an image for that when we typed it up last night. Okay, I'm hoping that we'll have these all maybe by this afternoon or tomorrow morning at the earliest, and then I can go back and I can edit the post and add all the images in here. Right here on your screen, that is the Mark Bagley cover. I wish that they would have that's the back cover over there that says Joywave on it. I'm assuming, since we're seeing this area right down the middle, that it's going to be a square-bound book like the Amazing Spider-Man one that came out recently that was also $10. But that's the Mark Bagley variant right there, open to order, $9.99. Simone Bianchi variant cover, didn't have an image for that. Pat Gleason variant cover, didn't have an image for that. Stephanie Hahn's variant cover, no image for that as of last night. Right here is the Jock variant cover. I do have an image for that one. That's pretty freaking rad. Let's scroll down a bit. Nick Klein variant cover, no image for that one. Rob Liefeld Deadpool 30th anniversary variant cover, no image for that one. I'm a huge fan of this one. This is the Mr. Garson variant cover, who does a lot of collage work, and that is super rad because there's every iteration of Venom in that cover, which is pretty cool. And then there's a couple more. We've got Humberto Ramos, Ryan Stegman, and Jeffrey Verege that are also contributing variant covers to Venom 200, but I don't have images for them, which totally sucks. So like I said, you know, I'll show you how to keep track of these, and I'll show you, and if we get the images before Monday, I'll try to upload them to this post so that you guys have access to them in one spot instead of having to try to hunt them down on the internet. Okay. Finally from Marvel, and the third part of the Hellfire Gala is X-Force number 20. Invite only to the Hellfire Gala. It's party time, but somebody's got to work it, and when invited guests and a few crashers prove to be planted antagonistic agents, X-Force is going to get their hands dirty and keep it all under wraps before anyone catches wind. Main cover on the far left over there is by Joshua Cassara. The character design variant right here beside me is also by Josh Cassara. And then there is a connecting cover variant by Russell Dodderman that, again, we don't have the image for. So it's something to keep track of, okay? All right. Now, from AWA this week, we've got Moths, number 1 of 6. Emily Kai has immense power inside her. However, the moment she taps into it, a clock starts. She will have only 6 months to live. As Emily enters into this journey, she contemplates how to use her gifts to bring beauty into the world in the limited time that she has to use them. That sounds cool, and it's no surprise that it's written by Mr. J. Michael Straczynski, because it sounds like something right out of Rising Stars. We've got Moths number 1, written by Straczynski with interior art, and the main cover over there on the far left is by Mike Choi. Variant cover right here beside me is by Carrie Andrews. So that sounds like a pretty rad 6-issue miniseries. This next one, though, okay, I'm a huge fan of Cullen Bunn. If you read any of his self-published stuff, his creator-owned stuff, it's fantastic. From Boom this week, we have a series called Basilisk #1. Who Can Stop the Chimera? 5 individuals bound by a cult-like hive mind. They terrorized small towns with their horrifying supernatural sense-based powers, leaving death and destruction in their wake. Reagan, one of the Chimera, escaped and has been in hiding with her murderous eyes bound, overcome with guilt, until now, when a victim from her past forces her to hunt down the other 4 of her kind. New York Times bestselling horror writer Cullen Bunn and artist Jonas Scharf from Avengers of the Wasteland reunite to unleash a supernatural horror series for fans of Philadelphia and Stillwater, rooted in the way we process the world through our senses. If you picked up a copy, what came out? Something came out last week. It had a preview from Boom of this. I think it was Berserker #2, actually. There was a preview of this book in the back of Berserker #2. It looks amazing. I'm in when Cullen does his horror stuff. The A cover on the far left over there is by Jonas Scharf. The B cover right here beside me is by Christian Ward. Make sure you don't miss out on Basilisk either. That sounds awesome. Speaking of Berserker, check this out. Next from Boom, Berserker #3. But guess what? I have no images for covers at all. So there is your blurb about Berserker #3. If you haven't got onto it yet, please get onto it now. It's a 12-issue miniseries written by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kint. We've got cover A by Raphael Grandpa, B by Jeff Deckles, which should be amazing, and then there's a foil version of each of those for $3.99 or $4.99. So there's your blurb about Berserker #3, okay? From Dynamite this week comes Betty Page, Curse of the Banshee #1. The pinup queen of adventure is back. Dynamite Entertainment proudly presents Betty Page in The Curse of the Banshee, an all-new Betty Page series under the guidance of writer Stephen Mooney, ably assisted by artist Jethro Morales, and a host of incredible covers, which you can see right here. So we're going to start it off right now. Betty Page is utilizing several clues found at the ancient key artifact site in Middle Americas. McKnight and Betty surmise that the key artifact has been relocated to an ancient burial site in rural Ireland. So why not travel to Ireland as a pinup model and do some investigating, right? Okay, so cover A on the far left there is by Marat Michaels. Cover B right here beside me is by Joe Linsner. Cover C on the far left is by Stephen Mooney, who is the writer of the series. Cover D is the cosplay variant, and that's pretty hot. Cover E on the far left is the Betty Page pinup cover, and cover F right here beside me is the blank cover. So what was that, 6 covers for Betty Page? That's crazy. All right. Next from Dynamite, we got 2 facsimile editions from Dynamite. The first one is a facsimile of Red Sonja #1, originally published from Marvel back in 1977. So I don't know that I need to say a whole lot more about that. If you don't own a copy of that book, there's a Red Sonja movie that's in development. Red Sonja #1, right over there, $4 from Dynamite this week. Then we've also got The Boys #1, which technically wasn't published at Dynamite until issue #7, but The Boys #1 facsimile edition, $5 from the folks at Dynamite. Lastly from Dynamite, we have a Vampirella 1992 one-shot. The 90s. Our strange yet dynamic link between the excess of the 80s and the pretentiousness of the aughts. That's what we're calling it, huh? The aughts. A time when heroes were born, died, and reborn again. Amidst all that creative chaos, the form of comics was torn between the muscle-bound proliferation of all things pouch, that's genius, and the heady brew offered up by the British comics invasion, thank you, Alan Moore. Now in the long-ago year of 1992, Vampirella finds herself a vampire trapped between not just 2 worlds, but 2 genres. When a bad girl model hired to portray Vampy at conventions and signings is plunged into a terrorist incident, she's forced to face not just the men with nunchucks before her, but insidious forces roiling beneath the surface of geek culture and her own dark past. That sounds super deep for a Vampirella comic. Written by the master of madness Max Bemis from the band Say Anything, and dually illustrated by the splendorific Marcos Ramos and Roberto Castro, this is a tale sure to delight and challenge in equal measure. $5 for this one-shot. Cover A on the far left is a Mike Crome cover that he He has not given credit to the amazing Mr. Dave Stevens. That kind of makes me upset, but that's okay. Cover B right here beside me is by Roberto Castro, and cover C is a cosplay cover right there for your lovely eyes. So 3-1, they're all 3 covers, Vampirella 1992, just a one-shot, okay? Here's another one, kids. If you like Nightmare Before Christmas, you know that they've had the Zero's Journey book that came out for years prior. There is a new Nightmare Before Christmas series called Mirror Moon #1. There's the solicit info. I have no cover image for it, but the interiors and the cover by Gabriella Cianello. Jack Skellington has a nightmare about all of the holiday doors opening at once, but out of that dream comes a fantastic idea to bring Halloween to all of the doors to share the spirit of this favorite holiday with as many people as possible. His newest invention will take all of October to complete, so must ask one of his most trusted companions to take over the Halloween plans in his stead. Whew. Nightmare Before Christmas, Mirror Moon #1, okay? From Action Lab this week comes S Factor #1. An underappreciated sidekick named Gray Fox decides to rebrand himself through a new dating reality TV show for superheroes called The S Factor, where 12 female contestants fight for his attention. Meanwhile, his former superior Dark Fox and Gray Fox, is bewildered as to why he'd put himself in such a vulnerable position. $4 for S Factor #1 from the folks at Action Lab Studios, okay? All right, if you guys like We Live, the artist from We Live is doing a new series from Aftershock called Out of Body #1. When Dan Collins wakes up to find his life hanging by a thread, he must use his astral projection to discover who tried to kill him. Who's the beautiful mystic who tries to help him? Why does August Fryn want Dan's soul? And what does it have to do with a demon who seems to be Dorian Gray? A weird, occult detective thriller about life, death, and whatever lies in between. From award-winning comic book writer Peter Milligan of X-Force and Ecstatic, and artistic sensation Inaki Miranda from We Live and Harley Quinn, comes an awesome new dimension in horror and mystery. Out of Body #1, $5, okay? From Black Mask this week, we have Everfrost #1. Van Louise retired to the Ice Coast. So is that a thing, the Ice Coast? So she could quietly find a way off-planet from a world on the wrong side of societal collapse. She biohacks a dead Leviathan to orchestrate passage away into the universe, but her plans are about to get chewed up by a mounting war between the warlords, who are violent gatekeepers for the global ruling party, and the Bloom, those who risk extinction living out on the water, as well as a family reunion with her son, who she hasn't seen since he died in her arms when he was a child. What? Black Mask, you crazy son of a... Join Ryan K. Lindsay, award-winning writer of Eternal and Negative Space, as he teams yet again with Sammy Cavella, the artistic juggernaut behind Abbott and Undone by Blood, alongside Lauren Aft, the colorist of The Witcher, Stranger Things, and Five Ghosts, as they drop an absolute bomb of sci-fi insanity and heartbreaking emotion in the grandest Black Mask tradition. $3.99, Everfrost #1. All right. From Oni this week, much less serious, Rick and Morty, Rick's new hat #1. When Rick and Morty buy the greatest hat in all the multiverse, it attracts an evil so banal that even our intrepid adventurers may not be able to stop it. In true comics event tradition, this one features everyone from Rick and Morty to Mr. Poopy Butthole, Pickle Rick, and more. A faux crossover event from the evil geniuses behind Rick and Morty Presents Bird Person, cover A by Fred Stressing, and cover B by our very own Denver native Miss Sarah Stern. So that's cool. Rick and Morty, Rick's new hat #1. All right, that was a lot of new books, kids. That brings us to our subsequent print speculation section, brought to you by Mr. Oscar.
Hey, bro, are you in the second prints?
Why, yes, there's a whole section about it, Oscar. First up, from DC, just announced Batman Fortnite 0.4, which hasn't even come out yet, is getting a second print. That's going to be in stores, I believe, June 1st, along with the third print #1, second print 2, second print 3, and #4. I don't know. I didn't look that up. I should have probably looked that up. But there you go. If you missed out on the Batman Fortnite bus, you can get a copy of the #4 second print, which will still have codes inside, redeemable for in-game goodies if you're a Fortnite fan. Okay? From Image this week, Shadecraft #1 is getting a 3rd print, which is crazy. There's your cover. It looks like a recolored version of the 2nd print, which was by Jock and Lee Garbett. #2 is getting a 2nd print right there on your screen. Little cutesy kitty kids in a shady shadow monster. We talked about this last week, but it's on FOC this week. We've got Ultra Mega #1 3rd print with a cover right there in full color. And Ultra Mega #2 with a 2nd print. That's what that sucker looks like. So there you go. And from Marvel, we've got 3 2nd printings right here. None of them with covers that were available when I typed this up last night. Alien #2 is getting a 2nd print. Carnage Black, White, and Blood #2 getting a 2nd print. And Way of X #1 getting a 2nd print. I'll show you how to look those up here in 2 shakes of a Persian kitten's whiskers. All right. That brings us to our Who Does #2 Work For segment, brought to you by Austin Powers and Faja.
Who does #2 work for? Who does #2 work for?
That's right, buddy. You show that turd who's boss.
Show that turd who's boss. We're the turd. Show us who's boss by ordering some comic books, all right? From Dark Horse, Jenny Zero #2 of 4, which just technically came out this week after it had a oops. Jenny's big secret is revealed, and no one is more shocked than her. With the discovery that she's more like her father, Mega Commander Zero, than she thought, Jenny must now fight off a legion of monsters, save a city from destruction, and find enough alcohol to forget the entire ordeal. Cover and art by Magenta King. So there you go. There's Jenny Zero #2. Also from Dark Horse this week, Orville Digressions #2 of 2 hits the FOC. With the Orville poised to spring a trap that will result in the destruction of Earth, Kelly Grayson, first officer of the Jefferson, races to unravel how to bring her would-have-been crewmates together and undo this alternate timeline before the Kalon burn the galaxy to cinders, with a cover by David Cabeza. From Dynamite this week, Invincible Red Sonja #2 is on FOC. #1 just came out yesterday. Our award-winning duo of Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti continue Red Sonja's mission to protect a young and, shall we say, precocious princess as her wedding day arrives. But as the preparations for the festivities continue, a coveted icon of the kingdom is stolen, and its protector, the King's Wizard, sets a bounty Red Sonja cannot resist. The strikingly beautiful sequential art of Moritat, another killer cover by Amanda Conner and Paul Mounts. All this can be yours if you let us know by Monday. Here's the covers. Cover A on the far left by Amanda Conner. Cover B right there by me is by Joe Linsner. Cover C over there on the far left is by Celine. Cover D, reusing old images. We've got a Frank Cho cover that's pretty fantastic. And then cover E is the cosplay cover. So 5 choices. Invincible Red Sonja #2. That's it, kids. We did it. We made it. Whew, I'm tired. It's been a long 50 minutes we've been on here. That's too much. That's too long. The last little bit that we leave you with is the entire breakdown of all of the books that are on FOC, broken down by publisher. First, you see all the DC stuff. You'll have to Google that because they don't have item codes. There's not an easily searchable way to look those up. You can go to, I think it's lunardistribution.com to take a look at their consumer-facing side of the website to look any of these things up with images. And then we get down to all of the other publishers that are still carried by Diamond. So Boom Studios, Dark Horse, Dynamite, IDW, Image, etc. The way that you can use this list to your advantage is by doing this. I'll show you. So we're going to take a look and see if we can find, let's see if we can find the Hellions Dodderman connecting variant. So right here, you're going to highlight this item code that's to the left of the Hellions 12 Dodderman connecting cover. We are going to copy that. We're going to come up here and paste it into the search bar on any web browser of your choice. The very first item that's going to come up is the previewsworld.com listing for that item code. You click on that link. Oh, look at that. It worked. That's going to take you to the previewsworld.com website, which is the consumer-facing side of Diamond Comics. And here you have the, that's way too big because you probably can't see it, but that is the Hellions #12 connecting cover variant by Mr. Russell Dodderman. So you can see we've got Rogue in her her Sunday best, and the back cover that's the invitation to the Hellfire Gala. So I'll have to go through and I'll have to update my post now. But you can do that for anything that was in bold that we didn't have the image to. Let's check and see. Can we go 2 for 2? Let's look and see if we can get the Black Cat 7 Dodson Spider-Man Villains cover. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy that item code. We're going to paste that into a search bar. Again, the previewsworld.com listing is the one that you want to click on right there. Oh, image coming soon. Oh, didn't go 2 for 2, but that's how you do it. That's how you work with it. You can go through the entire list that's here on our website, allofjusticecomics.com/blog. Put your order together. Send us your order Sunday for all the DC stuff, Monday for everybody else. And we will gladly sit down and order it for you. We would prefer that you either comment on this video or the post that we made to Facebook. That way it's in 2 spaces so that when Chris sits down on Sunday to key everything in and I sit down on Monday to catch everything up, we don't have to look all over the internets to find your requests. So that's how it works. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you tune in tonight. We will be live from 5 to 7 p.m. Mountain Time with our weekly Thursday night stream sale. Have a good one. Be safe. Be careful. I'm John. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.